the luxury of not knowing what I know. My existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives. I know deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. We use words like honor, code, loyalty. We use these words as the backbone of a life spent defending something. You use them as a punchline. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom I provide, then questions the manner in which I provide it. I prefer you said thank you and went on your way. Otherwise, I suggest you pick up a weapon and stand to pose. Either way, I don't care what you think you're entitled to. This country was defended and built by people that were willing to sacrifice. And in the beginning, our forefathers, they sacrificed because of Christianity. I went through a list of all those signers of the Declaration of Independence. There were 56 of them. There's about 30 of them that were actually killed, executed, charged with crimes that all revolved around Christianity. People persecuted that came to this country, established it, and after a few years passed, some more people decided, no, we don't like it that way. We thank you for building it up. We thank you for establishing it, making it nice for us, but we think we know a better way. And you see, that bothers me, because when I look at life today, I realize that we are not entitled to anything in life. Everything that we have in life is a gift from God. We do not earn it. We certainly are not entitled to it. None of us here in this room, none of us outside those walls have ever done anything in this world that we are entitled to the freedoms and liberty that Christianity and Christ provides for us. But we still, a lot of people like to sit back and say, this nation doesn't need to be a nation that is under God. We're diverse. We have differences. We need to accept everybody. Accepting everybody does not mean denying God. I think that every individual, and the Bible teaches, God gives man free will. Man can make up his mind himself. God grants that freedom. So I'm certainly not going to say we should live in a country that we don't grant the same freedoms as God. But God also says that I am the only one true God. And if a nation wants to heal itself, if a nation wants to rise up, it will call on me. And it says, behold, I will lift my hand in an oath to the nations and set up my standard for the people. God is a jealous God. He is a vengeful God. God does not want a nation to not put him first. It's a personal decision if you choose not to worship him, but it is a nation under God. One God. Our views toward our country are a lot like our views toward Christianity. We enjoy the fruits of the cross. We enjoy the freedom that the crucifixion and the resurrection gives us from sin. We enjoy the salvation, but just don't ask me to do anything for it. Don't ask me to go out and witness. Don't ask me to talk to people about Christ. Don't ask me to stand up for Christ. Just give me my Christianity, give me my salvation, and then leave me alone. And you can come and I will call on you in my last hour. Accept me into heaven, but do not ask me to do anything along the way. And a lot of people in this country have gotten to that mindset. I want to enjoy what you give me, but I am not going to do anything whatsoever to play my part in the role. Anybody here ever heard of Ann Landers? She does a little column, sort of like Dear Abby used to do. I want to finish with this little letter from Ann Landers. A woman had wrote a letter to her, and a man had saw the letter that was written into it, and he responded to this woman's letter, and this is what the man said. This woman had wrote in about her son and how bad he was and had gotten. And this man wrote in and he said, in regards to your son, is he disrespectful? Has he been arrested for drinking and driving? Has he been kicked out of college for cheating? Is his girlfriend pregnant? Does he get failing grades? Does he steal money from your purse? If you can answer no to these, stop complaining. You have a great kid. And Ann Landers wrote back to this man and said this: it's amazing how times have changed. You mentioned if a kid today isn't disrespectful, if he hasn't been arrested, if he hasn't been kicked out of college, if he doesn't have failing grades, if he's not stealing, if he doesn't have a girlfriend that's pregnant, then he is all of a sudden great. But you make no mention of achievement. There's not a word about integrity, responsibility, decency, morality, or service to others. What a sad commentary on our times. Oh Lord, where is our nation headed, and who is going to lead us there? We have become a nation where we judge a person by, are you getting in the way? If you're not and you're remaining silent, then you're all right. But if you're standing up for something, we don't like that. We don't want to talk about what you're doing. We want to judge you based on what you're not doing. I'm telling you right now, the government, the people of authority are not the ones that are going to lead this country back to where it needs to be. Ann Landers' question is, who is going to lead us? If somebody is going to lead us back there, it's going to be somebody from within the community of God through the Holy Spirit that will lead us back. Every one of us has a calling. Every one of us has to rise up. Every one of us has to take a stand. We have to realize that this country offers us so many opportunities. But the reason so many things slide by and go undone is the people who don't believe are willing to stand up and fight harder than the ones that do believe. We are where we are today because people within these walls of churches throughout America have remained silent. And I believe that it's a time now that we decide we cannot be silent anymore. That is one of the reasons I talked about this morning that we'll be starting this discipleship plan. We have got to take Christianity serious. We've got to get back to what the disciples did. We've got to get back to fasting. We've got to get back to our forefathers falling down before they made decisions, praying, fasting, coming together. Things like that have to be done. We have to get back to that because even though we are a small group, we can make a difference in this community, and thus this community can make a difference in this state, and this state can make a difference in this country. I know y'all may say, preacher, you're dreaming big. You certainly have a lot of faith in God, thinking that we can actually make a difference. But I really, truly believe with all these individuals in the Bible, one person by themselves that made such a difference, I actually believe that even if one of us gets 100% serious about Christ, that we can make a wonderful difference in this world and this great nation. We're not going to have an altar, well, we are going to have an altar call. I was about to say we're not going to, but I'm always reluctant not to. We're going to have an altar call. We're going to sing Amazing Grace. There was a wonderful response this morning when we had our altar call. I know that there's so many people here that love this country, that have sacrificed for it. And there's people's parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. There's people buried out here in this cemetery that have fought for this country. Let's honor them by saying that you did not fight and you did not die in vain. That there's still people that are willing to say that this is always going to be, whether it's on the money, whether it's in a pledge, or whether it's in a song, there's people that are always going to look at this nation as a nation under God. They can take it off the money, they can take it out of the pledge, but they cannot take God out of your heart if you choose not to let them. Tonight, make that choice to go back to God, put Him first, and let's bring this nation back to where it needs to be. If you would, please stand and we'll sing Amazing Grace. If you want to come